Hey guys. So yeah, today you don't get to see my face, but if you're interested in listening to what I'm saying, please continue to watch the video. So, I was just laying around. It's a rainy Saturday, and I started to talk to God about human relationships, how we relate to others, and how sometimes we need to put our relationship with humans in proper perspective. I mean, just go with me for a minute. I have this thing where if I love you, I absolutely love you. I don't have hate because I don't hate anyone at all. I dislike people with characteristics that are hateful, but I'm not a person that's hateful because then I become what I dislike, right? But sometimes we can take human relationships and we have them in places they don't belong. We put them on pedestals. We crave attention and affection and love from other people more than we do God. And that's when all kinds of things begin to happen in your life because you begin to do things to seek the approval of others, to interact with others, even though you know it's against your better judgment to do so. And we end up hurt and disappointment and discouraged when it's only because we decided to put human relationships in a place where only God belongs, right? The Bible tells you to love your neighbor as yourself. And it tells you about love in the Bible. Love is patient, love is kind, and that we are to forgive and to love other people. But it never told us that we were supposed to possess or obsess over others. And a lot of our lives are hurt and sad because we're missing another human being. We're being abused by another human being. We're craving the love and affection from another human being, so we feel like we can't go on. For those of you who are unmarried, life seems so incomplete to you because you don't have the attention, the affection, the admiration, the intimacy from another human being. And I'm here to tell you today that you have human relationships in a position that they don't belong. And I know some of you are not going to like this because it's like, okay, we're to love God, but we need human love too. You don't. You don't need it, but you do desire it because your flesh wants what it wants while your spirit is satisfied. God gave us everything we needed pertaining to life and godliness. So when we were formed and we were born, we lacked nothing. Sometimes we look around at these social sites, on these apps, and at other people's lives, and we begin to crave or covet what they have, not knowing that that's not what God has for us. And I'm not telling you that we're not supposed to interact with humans or to care for humans. That's a lie. And I'm not telling you we're not supposed to love humans. We are. But life is not supposed to be spent feeling empty because of the absence or the presence of another human being. That's not so. At 50 years old, I am learning to, and I'm a person that I can be sociable, and I can also be a person that's kind of ambiverted. I can, I like people, and I like to be out, but when I like to be alone, that's it. I'm cool with being just by myself. But I'm learning to understand that there's a love God offers. There's a love that God has graced us with, blessed us with, and gifted us that doesn't even, a human relationship could never. And you wouldn't know that if you didn't spend time with God. See, it's funny how we get mad at our significant others, our spouses, our children, people in our lives because they don't spend enough time with us. And the reason why we don't know the depth of the love of God is because we don't spend enough time with Him. We don't cherish that relationship. We don't honor that relationship. We honor it for the gifting. Oh, God, help me here. We honor it for the gifting, but not for the presence, not presents like gifts, like his presence. You got to honor the presence of God and be grateful that he chose your filthy human vessel to place his spirit in it. For those of you who have the spirit of God living inside of you, you know what I'm talking about. We got to honor his presence. And that has to be more than enough. You know, one of my favorite scriptures comes from Paul. And I can't remember what book it is in right now, because I don't read them all and I just can't remember. But he says, I learned to be content in whatever state I find myself. And that's not easy to do sometimes, because, again, you get to looking around. And when you look at other people's lives, you start to think of what you're missing and what you're lacking, because you do something that's really ill-willed, and it's called comparison. How is it that God only made one you? You are a unique, one-of-a-kind copy, an original, and you want to be like someone else or want someone else's lives because it looks good to you. Do you know how many married people I counsel, couples I counsel, and they have the most hellish things going on in their relationship because they move too fast, or one of them can't die to the Spirit of God so that God can rule the marriage, and they want to be in control. Everything that you're looking at from the outside in is not what you think. And I'm not saying all marriages are bad, because there's some beautiful marriages. I know some beautiful marriages. But how about enjoying the beauty of the relationship of the one who created you, made you, whispers to you, blows on you to wake you up, allows you to go to sleep, keeps you from Sunday to Sunday. We don't put enough stock in that. It's crazy, because when we get into relationships, we do everything we can to make that person feel loved and accepted and adored, and God is right here with us, and we don't do that. We don't spend enough time with him to find out how much we are adored. Because I promise you, if we did, it wouldn't matter who came, who went, or if nobody ever showed up. It wouldn't matter, because you would be so full. And I'm telling you, I'm only sharing some wisdom that I'm learning at 50. I'm telling you, when your kids grow up and they go to college and they move away, and when you're single, or even if you have somebody, I'm telling you, it ain't got nothing to do with being single. Even if you have somebody, there is no love. There is no comparison to God's love and his presence. If you've ever experienced, it will overwhelm you so much you won't be able to talk. You'll end up speaking in tongues and falling in the floor and just worshiping, and you'll stay there for hours, might be day, who knows? Because it's so good. It's good is not even good enough to describe what it feels like to really be connected with the you that you've not touched yet, the God in you, the Spirit of God that he placed in you, and you neglected every day, seeking and searching for temporal relationships. Because you do know that when we die and when we leave here, there's no marriages in heaven, baby. Ain't no husbands and wives, ain't no relationships. That human relationship stays here. So you're a spirit. Then you're just all spirit, no flesh. You don't even have desires of the flesh. And so we have to realize that the relationship we have with each other is temporal. Should it be good? Should it be amazing? Should we cherish it? Yes. But never worship it to the point that you neglect the eternal relationship that's living inside of you every day. A God that sees you, that guides you, that leads you, that causes angels to be around you day in and day out so that you can live, who blesses you, keeps you. I'm not talking about material stuff. I'm talking about a sound mind. I'm talking about a healthy body. I'm talking about peace, joy, kindness, love. I'm telling you, if you're somewhere on this Saturday feeling lonely and empty, and you confess and profess that you are a child, a daughter, or a son of God, I need you to start tapping into your Father and tapping into what's inside of you, and learn to love that more than anything, because he loves you more than everything. And I just wanted to share the love of God today. I pray that you are blessed. I pray that you are content no matter what state you find yourself in. God bless you.